Hey everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing the LiDiRC, this land-air fighter vehicle. I'll show you the box here. I'm not able to do my typical table review today, so I'm kind of doing a little bit outdoors, so it's a little bit of a different review. But here's the box, LiDiRC land-air fighters. And it is a car and a quadcopter. You can see the boxing material here. I don't have it all where it goes, but here's where the motor pods go, which I already have it attached to the quadcopter. And that's how you build it into a quadcopter. Then there's parts here to build it into a car with the wheels. And I will put that together and then come back with a second portion with the car part, probably inside. The car part is not very good, but the quadcopter is. But at least show you how the car works. Here's the battery that comes with it here. This is a, I don't know if it says on here what it is. It's a 300 milliamp 3.7 volt proprietary battery that slides into it. Here's a charger that charges it. It has to slide into the slides into it here like this and charges off the USB. It takes an hour or so to charge. Actually, I think it's a little less than that. It also comes with some prop guards here, which I'm not going to use. And it looks like 2 spare props and a Phillips screwdriver. Here's the controller. It does have altitude hold. It's a little bit different controller. It has this light on top that you'll see when I turn it on. Hopefully it'll show up. I don't know if it's showing up or not in the video. That's just kind of just a light to use. I don't really know the purpose. It just sits like kind of a light to shine around. Maybe to use it to locate. We really don't need to locate the car, because the car actually has really bright lights when you're using this thing as a car. Let's go over the controls on the controller here. It has a on the upper left here is, I believe, I'll double check here, is the auto take. But it's not an auto takeoff. It's a just starts the props and then it says takeoff. But you starts the props and then you push up to take off. It's got let's see. This is your headless mode. Is this button here pushing forward on it? On the upper right is the 3D flips, pushing up on that in the direction you want to flip. And this is your 1 key return by pushing this, and then it'll fly back to you. Your speed rates are right here, pushing left and right. It has a minus to the left and plus to the right. You have to go left or right, so right to go up, left to go down. You can't just push any way, so that's a little bit different than a lot of them. And I believe there's a transform button on here too. I believe that is I believe it's this one right here. What you have to do to switch between flying and to use the car when you switch to the car. And these are just your pitch and roll trims here on the right. So I think it pretty much covers it all there. So let's go ahead and I'll put the battery in. And you can see it comes on here. It's got green LEDs in the front and has red in the back. Turn on the controller. Let's see if it's bound. Alright, it is. To calibrate the gyros, you pull down and out. And there you can see the lights blinking. And then they stopped. Hopefully I got back far enough to show you that. Let's go ahead and take it up. So the quadcopter is actually quite nice. It's not super loud. It's pretty smooth. That is the lowest rate. Let's bring it back here so we can see it. There's a yaw, not too bad for a beginner's rate. Just about right. Let's go ahead and, like I said, it's got altitude holds, so no hands. See, it holds altitude nicely. A little wobble to it, but there's a bit of a breeze out here today. And that's the, I believe there's just 2, let's see. No, there's 3 rates, so. I think I actually had it wrong. To the left increases the rate. So let's see. That's all the way down to beginner. There's intermediate. Bring it close so we can see it. Y'all's not the greatest there. There's expert rate, or highest rate. Let's see the yaw. Yaw's better there. I mean, I probably could use a little bit quicker yaw on the highest rate. So there's the highest rate yaw. It has quite a bit of pitch. Flies pretty good. There's a bit of a breeze here going from north to south. That's why it's drifting and kind of fighting that. But for, you know, a micro-sized quadcopter here, I think it does pretty good here in the breeze. I doubt that's going to show up very well. It's just so small outside. Let's see if we can do some 3D flips here. It flips really nice. Just press that upper right bumper. Do a forward flip. Let's bring it back here. Let's do a back flip. So I'd say, you know, outside definitely expert rate, you know, but it flies nice in all the race. I said, the altitude hold makes it easy to fly. So this would definitely be good for a beginner or even a maybe a, you know, I don't want to say a child, but a you know, 8, 9, 10-year-old. Because I feel like the car portion too. That's more of a novelty part. The quadcopter is a real good part about this. The car, as you'll see when we get to that, it tends to the controls are a little awkward for it, but that's not the real problem. The wheels tend to fall off on it. They don't attach. You might be able to put some tape on them or something to try to make it, you know, thicker so they don't fall off. But obviously you can't glue them in place, so you can't transform this into the quadcopter. But the car part is, you know, it's kind of a neat little addition they did to it, and you certainly don't need to use it. So just the quadcopter alone, I think, is worth it. Let's see on the box. I think it had an age range on it, 14 and up. It says. I think this would be fine for even, you know, 10 years and up. I don't think it needs to go that. You know, a younger person can fly this because of the altitude hold, and you definitely can the car. The car is not going to be a problem, except for this. Like I said, it tends to kind of fall apart on you. The wheels, at least. Has a pretty good flight time. As you can see here, I've flown this quite a few times, but it's been a while. I had some other stuff to do, so I wanted to get this reviewed, get this done. Let's bring it down here. I can't remember if the auto takeoff button does do the auto landing. So it doesn't take off, which I'm seeing that more and more. I don't know why they do that. You just press the upper left button here, and I said it starts the process, but you have to manually take off. But then most of the time that same button will do an auto landing. So I don't know why they don't include the auto takeoff. And this is not the only company that does this. I'm seeing it in quite a bit of these micro quadcopters. Like I said, it doesn't take off, you have to manually do that. Let's just see if it'll do another flip here. Yeah, like I said, it flies pretty good amount of time here, and so I really do like the quadcopter part of it. I don't really have any complaints about it. Even out here in the afternoon, I can see those LEDs, so they're fairly bright for a little quadcopter. See if I can bring it back here and do the auto landing here and get it on the table. Yeah. Had to bring it back. You do have full control as it's landing to move it to where you want it to land. So overall, pretty neat. And it's also got the blue in the eyes in the front. So it's got the blue LED eyes, like I said, green in the arms and red in the back, and then a green in the tail light to help with orientation, which really is, you know, good indoors or at night. I couldn't see those, but I could see the arms as I was flying out there. And then these little rubber pads for the landing, and that also tells you which arm that the motors go on when you transform them, because maybe if I can show you here how that works, or at least pull one off. See the motor pods come right off, and they have contacts and go in there. And I haven't had any problems with them flying off or anything. They hold on just fine. So The car part is a part that's a little bit more difficult to use because of that option. So we'll come back now and we'll do the car portion here in just a moment, okay? Be right back. Okay, back with the ground portion review of the LiDiRC L18 land air fighter, I think they call it. I don't know if I have the exact name there right. That's on the box. It goes by several different names. But you know, it has just two big, large foam coated wheels that stick onto it, and still has the LEDs here on the arms and the green in the back and the blue in the eyes. But these front clear plastic covered lights here come on whenever you give it gas. I'll show you here, and I turn it on and you can see it comes on there. That is pretty neat. I actually do like the light features of this. Actually, it looks pretty neat when you're driving, especially indoors in the dark. It's pretty bright out today, so I don't know how well these lights are going to show up. I did put a little tape on the inside of the drive shafts to try to get these tires, wheels to hold a little tighter, but they're pretty snug anyway, so I don't know why they fly off. It's just there's no real locking mechanism, so I don't expect it to really make any difference. I'm certain these wheels I'd be shocked if these wheels don't fall off when we're driving it. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out here and try to drive it around a little bit just to give you an idea how the land portion of this works. So I'm going to go ahead and set it down on the ground. The controller, you have to this transform button. It says it's down and up is what they call the UFO for the quadcopter. But sometimes I have a little trouble getting it to work with the car, hitting this and finally getting it to go. It didn't take a whole lot of time. Just a few times I had trouble getting it to switch to the car mode. So then you can drive it like a car where you know, a stick controls for a car, which how I used to do them before they started to use the pistol grips. But you can do that by giving it throttle up and then right left to turn. But you can just control it with, I think, either stick just alone, like you would like the JJRC, I forget the model number, but the flying car, or SEMA makes one too, where you have to just control on the ground using one stick. So you can do it that way also, but I like to try to use both. It's easier to control it that way, but you have to be careful because you push up on the right while you're, you know, trying to give it throttle and you're turning, and you push up some, you're giving it throttle too, and you know, so I mean, it's a little goofy. The controls are a little goofy. So let's go ahead and we'll take it out here. I'll try to bring it back into the shadows here so maybe we can see the lights better on it. It's probably best just to take it a little slow. And here it's blinking. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, why it's doing that, because I've not driven enough for there. Now it's going. It couldn't have been out of range, so I'm not exactly sure why it did that. The wheels are actually staying on decently there because I got that tape might actually be helping a little bit. You can get going at pretty good speed. That's full throttle there. I don't know why the lights were blinking there for a moment and didn't want to go. It doesn't have a whole lot of power trying to come up my driveway, but going down it was pretty good, you know, speed. You can see there, and it tends to kind of want to peel out now. See, now it's doing the blinking. Now it's going. I'm not exactly sure what it's doing. Now, like I said, you can just control it using just one stick. So, you know, you can turn like that. And that may be how you're supposed to do it. Maybe I'm messing it up trying to use both sticks. The instructions are very unclear on the car controls. They're not good English. And see, you can also see it's turning using the right stick, but it's not really going forward. So that's why it seems like you can control it just normal, you'd expect, see? And turn. But if you like just to use one stick, you just use the left stick, and you can use it to turn and give throttle. But I think both sticks is better. Just seems like when I was using both sticks there a few times, it would just stop and start the front lights would start to blink. And it doesn't have a lot of power, so you're not going to be able to drive this through grass or anything. You drive it on concrete or slick in your house on the kitchen floor or something. But the wheels are staying on. I put just a small amount of Scotch tape, a tiny strip, just lengthwise on each shaft. I didn't wrap it around the shaft because it's too thick. There's a tiny piece on one. It's kind of like I don't think it's hexagonal shaped, which is supposed to be how they're getting the lock in place. I just put it along one side, and then it at that point I was able to slide them on. See, now they're just doing that again, where I'm not, like, it's almost like it's stuck or something. I don't know. There is this little there's this little back wheel plastic roller, and it's possible maybe that's getting caught and this can't go. There's a little groove here in my driveway, so I'm not exactly sure. See, it's going now. It's like it's blinking when I was trying to give it throttle and letting up. So I think maybe now, looking at it further, it's possible that back wheel was getting caught. It does not have much power. Let's see if it'll make it up over this. Let's see now. Is that back wheel caught? It doesn't look like it. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure. I've driven this before. I did not have it do that before. Let's see, now it's going. Yeah, it can't make it up that. That's too tall. But maybe if you get in here, we can see the lights a little better. See those front lights. I would imagine this would probably drive pretty long on the ground. I said I drove it once before today to try to see how it worked. I didn't drive it till it was dead. Obviously, going to depend on how fast you drive it. But it should drive longer, I think, than if you were flying it as a quadcopter. And I'm sure if you watched the quadcopter part of the review, you saw that it actually is a really good quadcopter. So I can't say that this is an absolute piece of junk, because the quadcopter flies really well. So if you want a quadcopter for maybe a younger kid, that also gives them the option of having something they can change it into and drive it around on the floor too. You know, it does work. It just isn't very good. It's kind of hard to control it. Like I said, I put a little tape on the wheels, and wheels have not flown off yet. I did it a while ago before I put the little tape on, and they flew off immediately. And it was on, and the last time I drove it, it was impossible to even drive it. The wheels were constantly falling off. I think a few other people on YouTube have reviewed this, and I saw one, and his was flying right off too. He clearly hadn't tested it, so he had no idea that was going to happen. But I did test this, so I was aware of it. But a little Scotch tape, and I see the wheel finally came off. That's a long time. That was actually, for this, a record. So the wheel did finally come off, and then maybe I could show you, if you can see here, where I put a little, I don't know, that's probably not going to show up. There's a little piece of Scotch tape running right along here that I put on it, and it's not buckled or anything, so it's still, I can push it, should be able to push it back on. But that worked pretty well. So I think that's a cheap, easy solution to keep these wheels on fairly well. You know, they will still come off, as you saw, but that's the first time that happened. And usually it is from a sharp turn. So I mean, it's more of a novelty, the ground portion. It's certainly not what you'd buy this for, but since it has the ability to have it, I mean, it's not the worst thing. It'd be nice if it worked better. But at least there's a solution for the wheels. Like I said, that's about all it does. It just spins around, and you can go pretty quick in a circle. If you're on a slicker floor, it goes a little quicker in the circle, spins. But those foam tires actually have pretty good grip, so it's not going to peel out or anything. It's just basic little car with pretty neat LEDs on it. But like I said, not the best execution for the car part. But overall, I think this is somewhere in the $30 price range. It might be less than that with the discount code, so it's not terrible. So that should cover the car portion of it. So thanks for watching, and please be sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and got some more reviews coming up soon. Thanks for watching.